Okay, welcome colleagues to the November Planning Committee meeting of Crewe Town Council. Do we have any apologies for absence?
Councillor Messent and Houston.
Thank you. Item 2, to note declarations of members' interest in the agenda as it's been sent out. No? Oh, okay, thank you. To confirm the time, the minutes of the planning meeting of the 16th of October, can we have that as a to record?
Yep.
Okay, they're all fixed for that, thank you. Okay. Item 4 then, public participation. This is one of the public, any
Non-choice.
respondents or... Item 5 then, consider the responses to the following planning applications. So we'll take them in that order. 23, 39, 46. Advertisement consent for 7 external signs. Co-op funeral director from Village Street. I take it. Luke and...
It's just signage, it's new branding I assume or something, so they're swapping around for a different colour I think, that's all. No risk there on Middlewich Street, just stop this end, south end of Middlewich Street, just you round the bend there, nothing to...
Is that okay then?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay then, 23, 39, 61. Prior approval of roof mounted solar PV, building S1 Bentley Motors.
Yeah, it's commercial, big industrial buildings, you all know, and it's adding a certain amount of sustainability with some PV on the roof.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to add any risk at all.
I don't.
No comment.
No.
No comment.
Yeah.
23, 39, 47. Reserve matters application for pavements, landscaping. I'm in the tap by a spider. Layout and scale of one single dwelling following outline approval. Outline application for the erection of 2 detached dwellings with garages. I guess we made comment originally.
Yeah,
What's alternative?
nothing, that was outline planning, this is now full planning, and in the past we identified this land as appropriate backland development for the properties they're proposing in there, and there are no submitted comments this afternoon when I looked, and the proposals are in keeping with what was expected to be put there in the original plan application. I couldn't identify any comments myself, but you're welcome to put in whatever you want.
No. I did notice that the highway, you have to excuse me being attacked. I'd put some positive comments that there was parking inside and there was also a turn-in circle. So if I remember rightly, it was on slightly on a bend or near a bend, and it was imperative that they get off the...
No, this one's... Well, should we bring it up just to remind ourselves?
Yeah,
this one's a little bit backland developed, and it's actually commercially used, or was recently, and it provides for some bungalows. Really.
I think it's got parking bases, because I think I did look at it, but it was early on when I looked at it, so I might be wrong.
You know, 4-7, what's wrong with that? What was the wrong there?
Look,
23,
capital N.
39, 47.
Capital. It's capital N, yeah.
It
Maybe that's
doesn't really need the end usually, but... It's gone all here.
Bingo.
First, show you what it is. So it's actually previous committee, and the access comes in. This property has already got planning here,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
it provides for entry and egress on this private road off the side there. And that's, you know, that's the proposal. It's just the more of the detail on it. There was no issues when it came forward last time.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Happy with that?
Mm.
Not quite.
No.
Thank you. 23/39/17, advertisement consent for 3 internally illuminated signs at South Western East Elevation, the Royal Arcade.
This is to do with the new bus station and the car park there, and it's a large P on the side of the car park and some identifying signage. I'll bring up a second. There is one, well, there was this happening, one submitted comment from a resident who wasn't overly supportive of it. This is the signage that's
Okay.
being proposed.
Mhm.
Show you the elevations as well, and give a bit more context. And there's a comment over here to show you. Oh, if that's loading, this is the comment from, that's from me, I don't want that one.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's wait for it all to load up. The comment is doesn't feel that the signage is in the correct location or provides enough clarity. But it's up to you members if you want to reflect that or not. We won't know until it loads.
I've got another meeting tomorrow night. I don't know whether that means.
Yeah.
It is from a resident, yeah.
Because I haven't got my distance glasses with me, so...
Well, there's nothing we can see right now. It's taking ages to load, unfortunately. I have no idea why it's taking so long. I apologise. It is that basic size that I've already shown you. That is on the Delamere elevation, sticking out. It's quite big. It's about 1.3 metres high, 1.2 metres high, I think. 1.2 out, sticking out, but it is on a very large building, so in scale.
Yeah.
And the bus station signage is there in a bus station.
What was it they commented that it didn't work?
They felt that the signage on the P is on the wrong elevation,
Alright.
because the access will be off whatever falls away from Delamere Street rather than
From that
directly.
street and
Yeah.
then
Lawrence.
And then the bus station signage also. I don't want to misrepresent it. I'm hoping it'll load up and say, I know, there we go. Right. The elevations. So what have we got proposed? North elevation, don't need that. So that's the bus station end, and there you can see the P sticking out. And there you can see it sticking out, and what I'm presuming is the access to buy cars there.
The cars go in at that elevation?
That's my understanding. Yeah.
Right.
So that's part of it. Now if that's loaded, there we go. I'll just zoom into that so you can all see it. Eventually. Well, I have tried to zoom in, but it's just taking its time. If I read it out if you like, oh there we go, there we go. Now you can read it.
basically saying that the P on the tower
Hmm.
is if you're coming from Market Street and Elliston Road, then it's past the opening for the car park. If you're coming from Delamere Street, Flag Lane, then you would see the P and then you'd carry on and then go into the car park. if I got it right.
Yeah.
So it's possible that you should have another P, because if you're coming from the other way, because you will maybe, what he or she is inferring is that you'll pass the entrance because you'll head for the sign which says P on it.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
But it's not, it's a comment he's seen, I don't know whether that's right.
unless we just put, when most car parks, the word entrance
Exactly.
at the top.
It's not.
Yeah, as a
You know-
planning committee, it's not for us to define, unfortunately. We're looking at it in
No.
the planning context, so you may want to say, you note the
No, it's
I hope the
comment.
comments of the residents
Mm.
submitted and noted and considered.
Mm.
I think that's it. But in the planning context, I'm not sure there's
No.
a huge amount we wouldn't say.
No.
I mean, he does go on to, which is not part of this anyway, he's obviously making a comment with reference to if you get onto the bus station from Victoria Street, it's not, in his opinion, their opinion, it's not, it could be safer.
Yeah.
And which, when you look at plans, well, that's not for us in this planning application, but I suggest to anyone, have a look at the plans of how you would get on into the bus station from Victoria Street across the service road, which will be from Victoria Street. So I would suggest you, we'll look at that, make comment, but not for us on here.
The footpath is already there anyway, from Asda side.
I don't want to word that
It's
issue,
already
but all I'm
built in,
saying is
yeah.
he's made the, I can say we don't,
They.
the resident from 13 Scott Avenue in Crewe has made comment
Yes.
to that effect. So do we want to just note that he's made comment?
I would suggest that you
I move.
Yeah.
feel that the consideration should be taken with the comments submitted.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so as well, yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that, yeah.
For that. Let's move on then. 23, 38, 99. The proposal includes 2 new fire exit doors, one for each side elevation. Go up again.
Yeah. I can show you what they really are, just 2 fire exit doors on the side of a commercial building. There's nothing, no one's made any comments, no one's got any concerns, and it certainly isn't a conservation issue.
No, that should be all
Has
right.
anyone's got a burning desire to see the
No.
fire?
No, I think that's fine.
I think they're doing the inside as well as the outside, aren't they?
Oh dear, that sounds...
Okay, that's practice the series bit.
Yeah.
23, 38, 60, installation of a spent built substation within existing 3 parking spaces, the car park market centre, which is McDonald's to be.
Yes, it's a square brick built building on a car park. I'll show you the plans. It takes a while to load, but they are not thrilling and they're not challenging anyway.
I've looked at them and it looks to me as if they're taking up about 3 parking bays.
It's exactly 3 spaces, yeah. And there's adequate, highways and companies adequate parking on the side, so it's not an issue.
I think it's a
Okay
good
with
fun,
that,
yeah. It's McDonald's on that Conway, you mean, isn't it?
No, this is a new McDonald's at the Market Centre car park off Vernon Way.
Oh, the Vernon Way one.
Well, it's technically
Yeah.
it'll be off West Street.
Yeah, off West Street, yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. Yeah,
You'll
that's
see,
good,
you'll see
alright.
on Vernon.
Yeah,
Right, there's another recurring theme. 23, 38, 49. Advertisement consent for 15 boardings on.
Yeah, these are the hoardings. One of the town investment plan projects is the, well, it's also lots of other external funding as well, is the redevelopment of the former library site opposite the municipal buildings behind the War Memorial there.
yeah.
It's due for demolition imminently,
Cheers.
and prior to demolition they're going to install hoardings, and this application says is for those hoardings to be installed. They are hoardings, they've got some design to them. You can see if you want, it's not desperately challenging. I'll bring it up a sec, 3849. Elevations, that's that take a bit to load. There is a resident comment. It's not in planning context we'll be able to explore too deeply, but I'll share with you in a second. And those are the hoardings around the what will become the history centre, what is the library,
Yeah,
the old library.
Yeah.
So I'll say that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they're just round
Yeah.
where they
Yeah.
were built.
There's the, you know, the top end,
Yeah.
they're about 7.5 foot high, aren't they?
Yeah.
Same as a car park audience really, isn't it?
Yeah.
The crew
With
round,
something on it.
Mm.
the pink.
No, that colour you'll see is there's some pink on there, but they are done in what's termed the crew brand, and that's what they'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
You alright with that?
That sounds good, yeah.
We all live with that.
No comments? Is that okay?
Yeah, I do. That's good.
Okay, 23, 40, 59. Certificate of lawful existing use of floors 1 and 2 as a living accommodation, 13 Earl Street.
Okay.
It's next to the pub.
Yeah. So this is above the shop accommodation, effectively. Oh, good. The floor plans are key here. The elevations are about the same, not changed. No windows or anything proposed. I'll have to refer you, unfortunately, to the minimum technical housing standards. For a 2-bed setup would be 70 square metres, and the floor plan measurements for these show 66.6 square metres. So they are below the minimum technical housing standards as adopted for these 2 bedrooms. They're shown here, and so we'd have to consider, I think, the representation of that doesn't fulfil policy.
Yeah.
Although I think previously we've been very supportive above the shop living, it's you know, accessible accommodation, very positive, but they're representing quite a small space there for what could be, you know, theoretically even a family accommodation.
Right, I want to say anything.
But if it's below, sorry,
Yeah, no.
if it's below the legal limit, if you like, then I don't see how we can be in favour. Well, in the past we've always said that we object when it's lower, so why do we change now?
Yeah, I think, yeah, Tony.
Are we able to make a suggestion or not? Like,
Yeah, fair.
like, well, I mean, it looks like. I mean, basically, that needs to be turned into a 1-bed with a bathroom upstairs. That's what it needs to be turned into. Then it will be fine. Because the bathroom and the loo facilities are downstairs anyway, so upstairs there's no bathroom facilities. And what it seems, so really, it needs to be a bathroom with ensuite upstairs, and it's fine. So you can still achieve what you want, okay, but not at the rate that they want it. But that would work. So you're making use of the shop space, and it's not empty.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose what we've said in the past on that is that we support, where possible, living accommodation, but equally we don't want them below the standard, do we?
That's
So
too
it's-
small on there, that is.
Well, the principle of town centre living, is that correct?
Well, we have in the past, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
So that's adding all that up then.
Actually,
Excuse me,
these,
the
I know
66.
these, that's 66.6 square
Yeah,
metres
and
according
that's
to these
over-
numbers.
and that's over 2 floors.
Yeah,
So,
2-bed over 2.
so if there were another piece of further space allocated to the living accommodation, for argument's sake on the ground floor or somewhere else, would that?
Well, the ground floor wouldn't
No.
be appropriate because that's commercial use as
I
a
see,
shop
yeah.
or a barber shop or hairdressers or something like that. So I'm not sure. I was trying to get the.
You're referring to just floor 1 and 2, aren't you? That's what
It's yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
floor one,
that's
yeah.
what it says, yeah.
Yeah, that's the bit that's too small. Yeah.
So it's whether you want to support the principle of town centre living accommodation, but object to the use as 2 bedrooms because it doesn't fulfil minimum technical housing standard, whilst suggesting that it might suit a single bed accommodation.
I think so. Because
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
downstairs
Fair
it's
size,
very
then.
small, isn't it? It's only a bathroom and a little toilet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be much better. if
It's
it
a
was-
one bed with an ensuite upstairs. That would work really nicely.
It would do.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, that's what we'll
Sounds
submit.
good.
If you
We're
want
okay
to
with,
members.
we're okay with that, let's go for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Falling due after this meeting.
That relates to some of the applications coming with a deadline before the meeting, which I informed the planning authority that we have a meeting just after that day, and they generally are very supportive and allow us to submit comments just after.
Okay.
These ones are going to be in date, so that's okay.
Okay, well, we'll take them in the order again. 233881. Full planning application for the erection of a 24-bed specialist care unit with ancillary parking and servicing. Telford Court, Dunwoody Way.
There are a number of residents' concerns associated with this site and the impact on current properties submitted. Proposed elections. It will take a little bit of time for these to load up, so if you give me a second just to pick a few.
Is this the plan that came up before?
Yes, well, it's altered, but that, yeah, this is...
But they've made an alteration.
They said they worked with the planners on Cheshire East to come up with a, in their words, better,
Yeah.
their words, better option for the site, away from the houses
Yeah.
and
because it was
along the
overlooking,
Woody Way,
isn't it?
rather than towards
The,
the
the
houses.
back of the
So
site.
they tried to address, because the original application was very, very close to the houses.
It was, wasn't it?
It's a very small, they've got very small garden, so it was very intrusive.
Yeah.
Quite rightly, they got turned
Mm.
all back at the Cheshire East planning.
Yep.
And they've obviously then wanted to obviously demand to have these specialist care units, and they've come up with what they believe is a workable option. It's really for us to make a comment, support for or not.
I'll just wait for these others to load and we'll go through them in a sec. I read through the comments, there's a few different issues there. The residents have identified on a number of occasions through those comments the concern over loss of amenity due to feeling overcrowded by and overlooked by the proposed development, and equally that they consider it to be overdevelopment of the site. Cheshire Police have submitted comments related to design and outline, which I would suggest should be considered and applied as much as is practicable. And in terms of planning policy, I've not been able to identify, although I'm not perfect by a long way and I'm not a planner, clear sustainable energy production, net biodiversity gain, and they appear to be building on parking provision for the existing facility that's there. So Telford Court is here, and this is where the site will be built, which means those parking spaces there have been displaced to approximately there, with some additional provision here, and the property, as you said earlier, facing onto Dunwoody Way. There's some separation here from Telford Court, there's a little bit of separation here from this property here, so it has moved it away from those properties, but its residents feel a little bit hemmed in, it seems.
But I guess, I've got the screen here, that's what I'm putting there.
Yeah.
I guess originally, all those houses that, where it says 7, and the terrace houses going down, there was some objections. Well, clearly may have, this is the car park there, but 9 and 11 according to the made comment, and you can see why, because that is a lot closer to the new build. So that's why they, I guess, have made a comment. It's they feel now they're overlooked. But it's certainly, I think it's certainly better than the original, but it's not perfect by a long shot, but it is, you know, because the other one was thin, sort of down here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Down this area.
Yeah,
It was
this end of the site.
Was that?
So it's really whatever.
I don't think we've added any more additional parking spaces in there for the amount of extra visitors that they're going to have. And some days, when I go past there, the car park's full. Yeah. So if they build that and then there's additional residents, then where are the cars going to go? They can't park in Dunwoody Way because it's all double yellow lines. Unless you've got a blue badge.
24 spaces there and 33 spaces on the new one.
Is it?
So,
I never checked that, to be honest.
Neither did I till now, to be fair on you.
So do we wish to make comment?
Well, it's an improvement, I think, for the residents nearby.
I mean, most of the residents, I suppose, they're backing onto the car park, so the building's not going to be shadowing their gardens, because sometimes that does actually affect your gardens and the sunlight and everything. So the only ones it would affect is them there on the corner a little bit, but because it's further away, because you've got all the parking at the back of their gardens, which you just got fresh air essentially. If you don't, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I was part of the council when I was before, but it doesn't look too bad if there's enough car parking, which is an issue if there isn't.
Realistically, what in a planning contest, what you've been asked is, do you feel it's an appropriate development of the site in scale and relevant to the area, or is it causing significant impact on an aspect of conservation or amenity or another consideration there you might say? I would suggest that in policy it should consider has it got adequate parking towards the parking policy, and from my earlier calculation I think it's just a bit light. It doesn't, as far as I can identify, again I've been found out on this once or twice, it doesn't identify net biodiversity gain, which has to do on development at that scale within policy, and there's no sustainable energy production on the site, which it should do in policy as well. I would suggest, although you'd have to do it, that you might want to reflect concerns and seek all appropriate mitigations associated with any loss of amenity or overall on the site and its impact on any existing residents, and take into full consideration Cheshire Police recommendations associated with design and crime. It may not be an objection, but there may be submitted comments.
What was that last bit?
Take into all consideration the suggestions made from Cheshire Police associated with designing out crime.
Oh, I see, designing out crime, yes.
High fences and
Yeah, that's something, lighting
Yeah,
and accessibility and permeability, that sort of thing. But it might be an objection, it might not be an objection, but submit comments seeking that these issues are addressed.
I mean, does it include some concerns? I think we should express concerns about the adequacy of parking. Because if there isn't enough parking, where are they going to go? Are they going to park at Morrison's, or they can't park
You see, they're limited there, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're limited to that.
If you park at Morrison's and you don't shop there, you'll get a parking
get a
ticket.
fine, exactly. So I mean, it's
Well, you don't have to shop there because you can go to the doctors and shop and park.
If you don't shop at Morrison's and you go to the doctors and you're there more than their waiting time, they'll give you a ticket.
right, okay, well that's
so I think concern about parking adequacy needs to be.
How many beds is that, Karen?
28.
20,
24, sorry.
24.
So the comments that you made, Pete, are you happy to
Would you like to submit them as comments
comment?
Yeah.
and not an objection? Is
Yeah.
that members are minded to go for?
Comments.
Yeah,
Comments.
you know, I think it's something that is like, you know, we need. And the fact that it's on the road, because on the opposite side are apartment blocks, so it's not in any sense conservation in that sense.
No, it's not. I agree.
It fits in and it's when you look at it, at the moment, you just look at
It's
a fence.
Mm.
So there will be some,
it's where the old wheel shop used to be in Crew Works, that is.
is it?
Yes.
Right, okay.
And the other side, I think, was the maintenance. I think it was the maintenance joiner shop, wheel shop. I think
There you go.
on that side. And this side, I think it was open space. And after that,
Well, it certainly won't have been as clean as that then, would it? Because it will be gone. Right, shall we move on then? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I think we are, yeah.
Okay, 23, 41, 62, disabled facility grant, adoption works, constructive single story, etc. And construction new disabled access ramp with handrails, 14 more, I think
This is a semi-detached house, yeah, then, yeah, in plan terms, it's a semi-detached house with space on the side to add a single story flat roof extension which is not obtrusive to others to increase accessibility to the property. There are no comments submitted from neighbours and having looked at it, didn't look in any way challenging, but obviously members of mine, it's up to you.
Yeah.
Obviously for a disabled person.
Exactly right, yeah, greater accessibility, yeah.
Okay then.
Straightforward, yeah.
Yeah. 23, 40, 92. The demolition of 4 new brick-built bin stores located within a housing estate and the construction of 4 new timber frame bin stores. We're going eco now. to the same size and dimension. The use will stay the same.
I don't understand why
Can't
somebody,
do.
I don't understand why somebody wants to knock
I
down a
don't.
perfectly good brick shed to
I
replace
don't.
it with a wooden one,
It's
which
going to
at
rot.
some point could be a fire hazard.
Exactly, rot.
Ours is not too reasonable.
Correct.
It's there.
Yeah.
Can you live with it?
To be honest, it's the exact same observation. I don't quite understand what this is about, but the long and short is in a planning context, it's neither here nor there, but they're knocking down brick to put in wood, and
Doesn't make sense.
I would have thought the brick one would last a lot longer.
I think we've got a lesson from the 3 pigs, haven't we? In the Big Bad Wolf, but I'm assuming there's some other reasoning behind it than that. So.
Is it environmental sustainability?
Well, it's not. If you knock something down, not so much, is it? Yeah.
Not really.
Well, you could remove, I mean,
Well-
bricks could be recycled somewhere else.
Are they going to recycle the bricks? Is what
I can't answer any of this.
the eco can.
I couldn't work out what the thinking was behind it. Long short, it's an application to replace one thing with another thing. I don't think it's a big plan issue. It's just
Can
confusing.
I suggest no comment then, other than, interest?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay then, let's
Yeah.
23, 39, 98. The proposal is to convert the municipal building annex into flexible workspaces. Which will include the demolition and remodelling of the internal wall, reconfiguration of the toilet facilities and replacement of ceilings. 5 windows and 2 doors will be removed to make way for a curtain wall and new frontage to the annex valley courtyard. The works will also involve remodelling the existing and underutilised service yard into the outdoor courtyard. That's a mouthful. So basically, they're going to knock about what they put up a few years back because they think they.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can give you full context on this. It's this and the next application. There's 2. The reason there's 2 is because it's in a conservation setting,
All right.
stood next to the municipal building itself, so they have to consider it in 2 settings like that.
All right.
It's vastly internal alterations, however there are some external slight alterations as well. It's to the new bit, the annex that was built in Crewe and Nantwich days, I don't know how long ago, maybe 20 years ago, something like that. And it's what's called the TADIC, is what Cheshire is calling it. It's a funded project to repurpose the building in a new technological sense. They can rent out space. Effectively, they don't need all the space they've got anymore, and they're trying to rationalise their estate, and this is part of that, and that's where we're at. The application, from what I understand and what I've looked at, is not challenging. They're taking a modern building and just moving it around a bit inside, and then reusing the external courtyard a little bit, and the access is more than one access off the courtyard allows for more versatile use as well, secure
Pretty
use.
straightforward.
I can bring it up, but
No,
they're pictures of a square
I
building.
think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting that, I mean, Dennis will recall this as well, that they refer to the existing as underutilised service yard.
Yes.
Because I recall that at one time probably still the case, it was actually a car park for use by, shall we say, well, councillors and council officers or other people coming to the place, including the mayor. The mayor had a reserved parking space. But of course those days have gone and you know, in this context obviously it makes sense.
There we
But
go.
that's how it's a sign of the changing times.
Okay,
Yeah.
some new words there anyway, I think.
You can use some of them as well if you want.
Thank
I
you.
think Charlie's moving us along on that one. No comment.
No comment. No comment. Well, how times change.
I know.
Wish we were back in 2003.
I blame the leads of the council at the time to allow that and we can go with. Right, let's move on. 23, 41,
Well, could I just point out, I mean, it is of course, I mean, it's a surprise that we haven't declared potential, particularly made a declaration of interest. You know, it should we have ambitions in the future? Because there will be some here anyway, one or two, Dennis. We recall that there were ambitions at one time for the town council to be housed there as the civic centre of Crewe.
Well, I did that.
Who knows?
Well,
what might
you're exactly
happen
right.
in the future.
We're not obliged to predict future conflicts of interest
No.
that we have no control over or knowledge of. So I'm
Just
not aware of any plans to move into the municipal at
I
all.
mean, it's just recognising the various future uses to which this particular
Okay.
annex will be put.
Have you been looking into your crystal ball?
Because I've probably told you a lot of crystal.
Yeah.
Only said ball.
Yeah, both of them.
Well, unless you want to move behind the curtain wall, I suggest we move on. 23, 41, 30. Extension to existing warehouse to provide additional storage, loading, unloading facilities. Morflake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bit add-on to the Mornflake building. It's normal metal frame aspect. It's not changing. Shall I bring it up?
No, it's, I was just saying that, I was going to say that there's one comment from Whitby's,
Yeah.
the ice cream makers and of vans,
Yeah.
who were very, very supportive, saying it's local business, they need to extend, expand and so on. Very positive
Yeah,
That's good.
comment from a fellow
Yeah.
that's good.
business.
Without bringing it up, does it affect anybody in the local area, any of the houses?
No, it's within the site quite well. Within the site.
It's at the bottom end of the road. So,
Could we actually welcome this?
was it?
Yeah,
If you want.
Yeah.
I think it'd be
Yeah.
good to welcome it.
I
agree,
It'd be
yeah.
supportive.
Yeah, definitely.
If that's,
It's welcome.
Definitely.
I've looked at the plans and it looks
Is that
as if...
okay then?
You're
Yeah,
happy?
yeah.
Thank you for that.
No, it's fine.
I'm very input. 23, 41, 05. The creation of a cycle and footway. It's gone on foot, hasn't it? Through the Mill Street area of Crewe, along with the public range improvements, 2 pocket park areas and associated with planting and architectural lighting. The scheme would deliver a clear, segregated, non-motorised route, creating a new active travel link into the Crewe town centre from the south.
Yeah.
Who would like to make a comment on that?
There is a residence comment associated that runs past very close to flats, which can house people with certain vulnerabilities, and that's raised concerns with those residents who submitted comments. Other than that, it's investment in transport infrastructure, active travel infrastructure, generally is supported usually. But it's up to you as members. The lighting, this is not really a planning concern. I'm concerned by the lighting because my past experience of architectural lighting is that once it goes faulty, they can't get the parts and it never gets repaired. Unfortunately, that's not a planning issue, that's an operational issue for Cheshire East. So we see this often on Market Square, for example, the lights are out because Cheshire East can't get the parts to fix it. On Memorial Square, it's the same, and we see it elsewhere in the boroughs it happens, but I don't know what to say to that. It's not really a planning issue, but it bothers me because I know in 2.5 years' time the lights will go out and they can't fix them.
What I mean, yeah. I mean, is there nothing we can do about suggesting proper lighting?
I'm happy to suggest it to you. I'm not in a planning context. I'm more than happy to write to them again
Yeah.
and suggest that, but
proper street lighting it needs,
Well,
like.
yeah, you don't want dark.
No, absolutely. Nobody will use it.
I think that's the point.
Did we not,
Nobody will use it.
did we not agree to this at a previous meeting when we were sat in this room when they discussed the plans to plan this out?
Yeah.
Say it was going to go X, Y, Z from bottom to
I think this is because they've added
Well, this is the
after consultation.
yeah, this is the formal plan
various
application,
things.
which we're statutory
In
consulting,
principle,
and
we
previously it
agree
was
with
just a pre-application consultation.
Since what they've done, they've gone out to residents in Waverley Court and, you know, Wesley Place, and then they've taken input from the one that's going to be opposite Brook Street, seating and, you know, just to, I mean, it'll make, I guess it'll make Mill Street quite attractive
It will.
in the sense of, you know,
Well,
with
my concern is where it finishes at the minute, because I know this is designed to link up with this footway that comes up here, but until it's all linked up together, I've only got a concern about the safety at the bottom of
Yes.
there, at that roundabout where it starts
Yeah.
or finishes, whichever direction you're going in, but at that roundabout it could end up to be potentially dangerous until the rest of the link is completed.
Well, there is a risk to this in that it doesn't actually have any proposal to complete because it falls short of the Mill Street Railway Bridge just as you get to Oak Street, Vernon Way roundabout, and because the road is too narrow there to accommodate a full cycleway and a pedestrian access without impinging on the road, making it single lane. So it actually stops just because there's a traffic light pedestrian crossing
Yeah.
on Mill Street just before you get to the bridge, and it comes out in front of Wicks there and stops. As a proposal. So it's been an ongoing challenge for them, to be fair on them, how they get past the Mill Street Railway Bridge, because you can't just widen the bridge under a railway without billions.
And there have been public concerns when you mentioned safety, and I think the other one is linked to lighting and possibly even amenity planting. Public concerns have been expressed about safety, because you can recall in the past towards that mills at the railway bridge end, at one time the vegetation was well overgrown and people were attacked, you know, simply, and that's why I think some of it was cleared away anyway. But there has to be due regard to public safety, and that's where this lighting business is that's quite important.
It's crucial.
It needs to be reasonably lit, particularly for nights like now. You know, if it's dark, who would want to walk down there?
Too, especially if you're tree, don't
The thing is, though,
trees.
it's
No,
responsibility
you don't.
to light the bridge,
No.
underneath the bridge. Because that's the darkest point there, isn't it?
not network well.
I mean, the whole project wouldn't work without proper lighting. It's wasting money. I think
Because people don't use it.
people won't use it. I think it's a comment that needs to be highlighted that really, unless adequate proper lighting and it's going to be serviceable, the whole project is not really worth the paper it's written on. I don't think. Do you?
No.
I don't.
It's essential,
Safety's
isn't it?
important.
Safety is crucial.
Yeah.
Can I just have a thought? I'm going down Mill Street now, and I'm getting towards the Pelican Crossing, just prior to the bridge.
Yeah.
Now, do I on my bike have to get off and go across? So who has the right there? Because if you're not careful, you've got cycling and walking side by side till you get to there, to the bridge, and then it's just a standard footpath.
Yeah.
On this turns footway. So right, what happens then?
They go on the road.
Who?
The cyclists.
Cyclists will have to cross the road.
The cyclists aren't allowed on footpaths.
You'll have,
So what-
you'll have
so-
a cycle and a
Just
pedestrian
bear me out.
crossing there.
So
won't you?
you get off your bike,
Yes.
and then you get to the other footpath, and then you'll walk. And you'll walk like they do, and then you'll negotiate the roundabout, and then go on to this path that's in that rugby eventually. I'm only suggesting one of the things is the beauty of this is that it's segregated.
Yeah.
Because we all know if you walk around it off and through, you'll end up with a bike.
The best thing
coming
about
at you. I mean, it's quite
but-
dangerous at times.
the best thing about that is that it takes all the cyclists off Mill Street, and they're all going to be
Yeah,
using
but
that road, aren't they?
But
Until they get to the top.
what
and the
happens
bottom.
there though? You argue about
That's
the
what I said, yeah.
walking. Who's going to
That's
win
one
that
of my
walk,
concerns is what happens when this is finished here and Oak Street is done, and you've got this supposed, that walkway is supposed to come straight up here past the end of this building,
Yeah.
and that cycleway is supposed to be with it.
I've no
So how do
problem.
we get it
No,
across?
no problem
Yeah.
once it gets to this side.
Correct.
The problem is where it becomes, if you like, two widths to
Yes.
one. Who then? Do I have to walk if I'm walking? Because I tend to walk.
When you get there,
Walk
John,
across to the other
so
side.
when you get there, the cyclists are supposed to go on the road.
No, I don't think that would.
Because-
I don't think that's suggested in there.
Once the cycleway finishes, it becomes a footpath. And by law, cyclists aren't allowed to ride on a footpath.
I'm merely thinking
Now,
aloud.
I agree with what you're saying, but
If I may,
Please.
you're exactly
That's it
right,
there,
because as we get past Wicks,
Yeah.
this is Wicks here,
yeah,
and then we get past Wicks and it ceases there.
Yeah.
Nothing else, it ceases. Because all the way up to the roundabout then is pavement, basic pavement, no additional facility for any other active travel. And so the cyclist has two options, one is to dismount and walk, or to join the road traffic as a cyclist and go over the bridge that way. The issue being this point here cannot widen that bridge, reasonably speaking. And so it doesn't, and I can't see how it ever can, connect to Oak Street, Vernon Way roundabout, and then therefore the Southern Gateway, which is what we're referring to. So the points being made are exactly right. So you create what the principle of this proposal is to create an active travel route as near as damaged and broken from Nantwich Road, not quite the station, so it's actually Pedley Street anyway, it's not
Yeah.
Nantwich Road.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Pedley Street, through the flats, Waverley Court, all the way down Mill Street, uninterrupted, crossing a few little paths, and then you get past Wicks, having crossed over the little road there, which is accommodating
If,
there.
if
And
you're,
then after you get past Wicks, just before you get to the pedestrian crossing,
if
it
you're
ceases.
if you're coming past Tesco's and then you're going under Mill Street Bridge, the same thing applies when you're going up Mill Street. How do you get onto the cycle path?
They'll use the pavement.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what they'll do.
Yeah.
Cyclists
So you're
will
gonna-
use the
so-
pavement.
You're going to get onto the cycle path at that pedestrian crossing. So if those lights are on green, who's got the right of way? The cyclist or the pedestrian?
if the lights are on green, the vehicles on the road have got,
Yeah, but you're taking the cyclists off the road there to go up Mill Street.
but whilst they're
So-
on the road,
Yeah. So once they're on the road and they get to the crossing,
yeah,
that's where the cycleway starts. So how does that cyclist get off the road onto the cycleway?
well, they should have a ramp there, or whatever they call it.
Right, okay. I
It's
don't
not,
think we
it's
can
not
resolve it.
straightforward, is
It's-
it?
No, it's not.
No, it's
No,
not.
we can't resolve it. It's
No,
just
we
an
can't resolve
observation
it, but
that
it's
it will, at that pinch point,
It's a dodgy,
it will
it's a
cause,
dodgy place to
it's
have.
where
Yeah,
it falls
'cause
down.
It does, yeah.
I mean, until they come up with a better idea, it might have been better if they had it further up, so that you just cycled up Mill Street, through the crossings and then onto the cycle.
Okay, well, what we're going to say then, do you
Yeah,
want to
safety issue, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's that's the important one. You know,
And
lighting,
lighting.
safety for pedestrians particularly.
Yeah.
There is this question about the cyclists. I mean, a couple of other things occurred to me. One of them, and this possibly it's outside of this application, but if you recall, when the retail part was approved, that was part of the application. The other part of the application was some housing, wasn't it? housing development in that sort of quite big, between that bridge and Wicks.
That's right behind it.
Now, don't know where that's up to. Presumably that has been taken into account in the development of this proposal. Well, it's worth asking the question, isn't it?
I have no idea about that
It was
proposal, so
it was and it got
Are you
on an
right?
application for houses in a triangle.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
right again the railway line and to,
Yeah.
and
That
behind
piece of
Wicks.
land
So that there,
roughly there, yeah.
Yeah.
right.
And it
Okay.
got passed. It may have fallen foul of the 3 years now because
It
it
may
was
well
prior
have
to
done.
COVID.
It may well have done,
So
yeah.
it's probably lost, but it was to put some houses and apartments on that, like a triangle it was.
Right.
Yes.
Didn't this cycle path, footpath, go through Lidl's car park at one stage?
At one stage going around the back and then
That's
the
right,
thing
fine,
was,
yeah.
it moved
Just-
it to
It
make
is the
it,
same road,
I
yeah.
guess, saying that it's safer because it'll be
More visible.
actually on the Mill Street, you know. It's,
Yeah.
so okay, can we just capture that and then we'll move on? Can we-
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you just ask one
Of course you
question?
can.
So the vehicles then, do they go to the left? So they can't walk Mill Street anymore, they have to go left? I'm a bit like...
No,
No,
this remains two-way road.
Oh, it does, right,
Yeah,
okay, I just checking.
This
It's that
verge
bit,
area
yeah,
already
the verge,
exists. That's
Yeah.
not new. It's how it's landscaped and then how it's segregated.
Segregated, yeah.
That's called the sidings, by the way.
Yeah.
That bit there
Yeah.
will be called the sidings.
Right.
And they've got a nice words for the one outside Waverley Court, Waverley Plain or something. It's some, very nice.
There was a bus depot there at one stage, wasn't there?
It's okay, can we just,
Anyway, sorry, yeah.
I think we spent enough time on
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Can we just, because we've got some key points
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
lighting.
yeah.
The committee comments that the development must ensure it has serviceable and sustainable lighting, not that it will be obsolete once damaged. And it's an observation, give me last name, that the northern end of the proposals generate risks associated as cycles meet the end of that track and have to dismount. Suggest that significant signage is included for clarifying highways responsibilities such as cyclists dismount, and how would this development impact on the previously approved development for housing in the land behind, or the land to the east of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the reference, I don't know about that, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, is that
Yeah,
all
I
right?
agree with that,
It's
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
thanks for that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I'm not putting that down as an objection though, is that correct? That's comment.
Oh, it's
Just
a
comment.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's coming with a very strong suggestion about the lighting.
The lighting.
Yeah, very strong
It is a
suggestion
concern,
about that.
isn't it? The
Safety
side,
aspect.
the safety
Safety,
bit there
exactly.
is a concern.
It's a very big concern.
Yeah,
The
make that clear.
presentations for improvements.
Yes. Okay then.
Nice phrase.
Let's just move on. Item 6, to consider making response to any urgent plan application that have arisen since the agenda was published.
There's only one that's been circulated, Chair, and that is, excuse me, bring it up. Twenty-three 4256. Proposed garden shed and reinstatement of garden wall at 100 Gainsborough Road, Crewe. It's not the most challenging of applications, but we'll share it.
Have we seen this before?
It's been, yeah, it came
The
out.
one where the neighbours objected.
I don't know, no one objected to this, no, this is a different one, I haven't seen this one before. I don't remember this one, proposed plan elevations. So, it's a garden shed to go next to a garden garage, there, and change to the boundary wall. So that's that, and the proposal is to put a shed here, and in a moment they're proposing the wall of that design as opposed to fence
All right,
of
yeah.
that design,
All right, yeah.
sort of gravel board type thing.
Mm.
There are no comments associated, and it doesn't look too challenging to me. I have no comments to suggest to you, so
Could I make a suggestion?
yeah.
The brick outhouse in Westy Road, could they use the bricks for that to build that brick wall? It hasn't taken.
Well, I
Sustainability.
yeah.
That's right.
Just an observation.
I think it's a fine observation. That I'm not sure how to phrase that one out. For this application in and of itself, I was seeing not too many comments going in, but see how we go.
Perhaps when we go live, the world will know. Okay, is that all right then? We can
Yeah,
use that.
yeah.
Item 7 then, to no responses submitted on the delegation since the previous meeting, and there is not. So item 8 then.
If I might, just to point out for those who haven't gone through this routine with us before, as we get into December, there's no planning meeting usually, unless there's an emergency item. And so what happens is I collate all the plan applications we get that will fall too far due before the next plan in January, craft some phrasing around them as much as I can. I send them out to the members, and any other comments that anyone wants to include, you send them in to me. I collate all those, share them, get if it's changed, if you haven't changed, don't, and then I submit them on behalf of the committee
Right.
and that would then fall under this item 7, which is usually empty. Responses submitted under
Right,
delegation.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. Okay then, 8 then, to not consider any correspondence, consultation, etc. 8.1, final draft biodiversity net gain supplementary planning document.
Yep, I read it, understood as much as I can of it. The only thing I could identify, and this is based on, I am not an expert in this field by a long way, is I wondered if comments associated with ensuring that Cheshire East planning officers are appropriately trained in interpreting biodiversity assessments and mitigation reports, because one of the policies includes that they must have detailed reports associated with different tiers of development, and I wonder how much the planners will have had the opportunity to be trained in exactly what is appropriate response and what is less helpful.
Is that referring to some comments we made and...
No, it's referring to when, well, this is a bit cynical on my part perhaps, but when developers put in their reports associated with their big developments, they pay some very talented individuals to write reports that say what they need to say to support development, and to challenge that process, to make it a fit and fair approach. I think the planners should be equipped to have some understanding of what's been presented to them, and I'm not sure, but I'd be confident that they're not necessarily trained in biodiversity assessments and mitigation of recent. And so if you can have a policy in place that planners are expected to enforce, then I think they should be given the opportunity to learn about it.
Don't you think?
That makes sense.
The Cheshire East Council, if memory serves, they've got an ecologist or two.
Not at the minute.
All right, okay, and certainly I can recall from the past, this sort of thing would have been dealt with by that individual, or the occupant of that post. All right, that might change, I suppose, because it would be equally reasonable to say, well, if that isn't, if that isn't the case in the future, yeah, the planning officers need to be equipped, as do indeed the members who may have to deal with the bigger applications.
Maybe my phrase should be that the appropriate department should be adequately resourced to respond appropriately.
In fact, all parties concerned with the determination of planning applications where biodiversity net gain is a consideration should receive adequate training.
Well, it's just a suggestion from me, because that's the only thing I could identify a chink in that information.
Okay.
Isn't there a course that we should go on or could go on?
I'm sure we could find one if you want to go on one.
No.
Shall we move on?
Personally, I know nothing about it.
Well, I tell you what, aside from this meeting, I'll find some out.
Oh, good one, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Okay,
I think
well.
if we're a planning committee and then we start discussing biodiversity, I think we should know a little about it at least.
Okay,
Some
I
people
can sort that out, that's no problem.
Okay.
Okay then,
Yeah.
thanks for that, Phil. Are you okay then?
If you're happy for me to make that comment.
Stephen?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay then.
Particularly given our interest in, of course, the maintenance of the public realm and the public open spaces and such like. It helps that we can improve the university, doesn't it?
Okay then, 8.2. West Street traffic calming documents available here. That's
Well,
the
yeah.
West Street.
I think a member very thoroughly versed in this.
I've had, well, yes, I've had a copy of that plan for a long time. I did submit some objections via the town clerk, and one of them was dismissed, and I think the other one was taken up because they now want to make it 20 mile an hour. They're taking away the AGO status from it, so it's going to stop a lot of traffic from going up there. I spoke to Anthony Critchley while he was still on the council, and he'd looked at several plans, and that plan was the last one he agreed. And he said he'd got no objections to it. And I personally haven't. There's only one thing that I find weird is that moving the level crossing from outside the old co-op, Morrison's, and putting it smack in the middle of the crossroads at Derby Street and Goddard Street. So,
Well, that's next to it.
it is. But it's right in the middle of the crossroads.
Okay.
But it's all going to be raised, it's all going to be high up at footpath level, so that basically I'm assuming that the traffic lights will still be there anyway, so but they won't be stepping down, they'll be just going straight across. Same, I think it's the same with the crossings at the top of West Street, that's been heightened so it's level with the footpath. They put they'll have this new fancy LED lights on it, so, and it should be a bit brighter because at this end of West Street the crossing is this time of night I wouldn't dare risk crossing the road because you can't see.
The biggest problem with those raised traffic calmers is that pedestrians think that they're a pedestrian crossing.
It's designed with the pedestrian having the right of way. All the junction at Underwood Lane, Ford Lane, and all the other streets, the footpath is going to be level at the cross. So if you come out of Ford Lane, you've got to go over a bump.
Yeah.
It's all there to
For
leave.
just sake, I mean, I live the dream on Antwick Road. You have the very same thing where they don't raise bricks. I mean, it's 20 mile an hour, and it doesn't matter what it says there, you don't go much faster than that anyway because of the volume of traffic. And you're forever stopping, either at a traffic light or pedestrian crossing. The problem is where they've raised it, and for example at the top of my street, Brooklyn Street and Ernest Street, there's a raised bit, and you make an assumption that you've got a right to cross there, but you haven't.
You haven't, no, you haven't got a right to cross.
And then is the time that people step on it, and there's the cars coming, because they just think they're carrying on. So what they're doing in West Street I've no doubt will improve.
It will improve.
Pedestrian, because there's been some accidents, hasn't there?
Yes,
But it's not going to be the panacea that you're looking for.
there's been 3 fatal accidents there in the last 3 years, and I think there's been 5 serious ones as well. One child was airlifted to hospital at Liverpool from an accident in West Street. It's not nice, but from what I've read, it's designed to keep cars out of West Street. So the only time that you need to go down there is if you live down there.
So they're closing it off altogether then?
No, we're not closing it off, they're making it 20 mile an hour, and there's cycle lanes going down West Street.
What is that?
So how they're putting cycles in, whether they've done it the same as Nantwich Road or not, I don't know. I can't figure out whether they're widening the footpath and narrowing the street, because West Street's quite wide.
So where's the traffic going then?
Or through traffic via Dunwoody Way.
Where's the traffic going to go then?
Dunwoody Way, up to Flag Lane where they built that new junction up there,
Yeah.
and they're diverting all the traffic. The only concern I've got is the residents. I think they're going to start kicking off when they see the amount of traffic that's going up there that used to come down West Street. Because at the minute, you come down West Street now at peak times. If I'm in my car at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Friday morning, I can't get out of Ford Lane. There's that much traffic.
Really? Is there? You're joking.
No, I'm not joking.
Wow.
If I go on a Friday, and if I go at 10 o'clock on a Friday and I want to go to Morrison's, I'm waiting 3 or 4 minutes to get out of that junction to turn right
Gosh.
to go to Morrison's, because of the amount of traffic that comes through at West Street, and then it's all going down that way, and then all of a sudden the lights change at the other end, and they all come this way. So you've got constant queues of traffic
Gosh.
there all the time.
So
Why those two sets of lights can't be working in conjunction, I don't know.
not very good, those lights there, are they?
No.
Those people who drive down Dunwoody Way and then cut through that estate, it's not a good
That's not going to be a good either.
crossroads at the top, really.
No.
It's tricky there.
It's
Nobody
very
knows who
tricky
to
there.
go-
No, they don't.
nobody
Well,
knows
the
who
crossroads,
goes first.
it's a left-hand turn there, isn't there? So you go into the estate there, and then you come out at the top of
Yeah,
Flag
onto
Lane,
Flag Lane, that's quite
which
tricky
is
there.
quite, well, it's not, it's quite wide, because it's
Well,
rebuilt.
yeah, but I'm there every day, and
Yeah.
sometimes people don't know who's going first. You know, that's the thing.
Yeah. It's
So
still
it's
into
just
that
have to get
road.
used to it.
So we stick to the West Street. So what you may comment, it's been passed,
It's been passed,
and it's got, what is it now out for
This is the consultation on the final design.
Right,
from
okay.
what I can gather, and I may be wrong, but for the information there were street closures for Derby Street, Goddard Street and West Street from the 26th of February. It's going to be closed for about 4 weeks.
Are we supporting the proposals?
I,
The traffic calming?
no objections to it whatsoever. The sooner they do it, the better.
It's your ward, is it?
It is, yes. And Selena's as well.
Yes, yes.
So
What do you think, Lena? I don't really know. What do you think? I don't know.
Sounds very
I
confusing.
mean,
Just-
at
just
the
to
minute,
in
you,
theory,
you've got
sounds good.
some young people
Reduce
in
the
fast
traffic on that
cars,
street.
and they use West Street like a drag race track.
Do they?
Oh, they certainly do.
Oh.
They do 40, 50, 60 mile an hour down West Street.
On West Street, I don't know.
Oh, can you
They
do
just
that?
whiz
I've
past
been
it.
more than about
They do.
20 miles
Wow.
down West Street.
Well, you won't be able to do more than that anyway, because there's going to be that many humps. I don't know about the bus route, but the calculations have been done from the top of West Street to the bottom of West Street by Ben Way, and he says it will only add an extra 30 seconds on your journey.
To go round? To go to
No, to go through that, to go through West Street
20 miles an hour, you mean?
at 20
Oh,
miles an
right.
hour. But they don't want cars in there, they don't want HGVs in there. Now, I don't know whether they're going to put a weight restriction on it or not. I haven't got that far into it.
What is this way, West Street? They don't want
I think
HGV.
They don't want, they don't,
Might as well
the
shut
basic
it down.
idea of it is they don't want any traffic going up that part of West Street because it's
They
too
might as well just
dangerous.
close it down altogether then.
But-
Because it's too
Well,
close.
Well, that's what
Yeah,
that's
So
what
I think we
I'm
ought to go, let's get some
Yeah.
context.
But where's the where's
You
the
can't
volume
do
of
that.
going to go?
For the best will in the world, there are people trying to earn
A
a
living,
living in
yeah.
the shops.
Yeah,
And so it's counterproductive to say
I agree.
you're not going to have cars going down there. I mean, if you're going down there, you're going to go at 20 mile an hour.
You are.
And that's not unreasonable based
It's
on
not.
Yeah,
traffic.
yeah, 20 miles an hour.
But the people that are complaining,
Don't forget, Kevin,
yes,
you get that sorted and then you want to push the cars off, all they'll do, because if you live in
I don't want to push the cars off.
lane,
all
you've
they
got to
want
go
do is
down
slow
Grove
down.
Street, which is single parked always on one side.
Yeah.
It just creates a whole
I
host
think
of
so.
extra
Badger
problems.
Avenue's going to
It
be.
needs to resolve the West Street, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Because there's three, in that section of West Street, there's 2 car parks. So people want to go to the shops there, instead of parking on the pavement like you,
Oh, they
They
do
do, they
park
can-
on the pavement.
they
don't
can use the 2 car
Yeah,
parks that
well,
are
that
there.
would be
And
preferable.
they're quite close to one another, virtually in the centre of that.
Yes.
But surely, Chair, the purpose of this, apart from traffic calming or pedestrian safety, it's not to take out all the traffic, because that would just be nonsense. But it is to remove the through traffic that currently uses West Street to get to the town or to the Grand Junction retail, in which case what would happen is that traffic going in that direction would get to the Bessemer Way,
Yeah.
traffic light and go up Dunwoody Way, and then they've got 2 options, either through Harrison Drive, which brings you out to Flag Lane, where there is, it's an interesting junction, you have to be very careful.
You
with
do,
it.
yeah.
Or, if they're going to the other retail park, they'll carry on up Dunwoody Way and
Take it to
Vernon
another
Way.
road, yeah.
It's to divert through traffic, effectively from West Street. I mean, it's obvious to me anyway that that there are businesses, local businesses and residents in that area who will still obviously want to. And the businesses.
I've spoken to some of the business owners, and the business owners are happy to have that traffic calming measures.
Yes.
They're not. They've never said to me that we don't want it because we're going to lose customers. There's one at the paper shop. I think he started a petition at some point to get West Street dropped down to 20 miles an hour. I think he did it about 2 years ago when he took over the paper shop. I think it might have been when the last person was run over there. So the people that own the businesses down there are saying that the cars are going up and down there far too fast.
But even at 30 miles an hour is reasonable. I don't know why.
Well, it is what they don't do 30 miles an hour. That's the problem.
I don't do 20 either.
You've got people that see a straight road and they automatically want to go fast.
Well,
If the speed limit's 30 miles an hour, they'd still go down there at 40 miles an
But
hour.
wouldn't it be better to just have cameras at 30?
They've got cameras down there, but they're not speed cameras.
So what do we want to do? We could go around all night on this one. What do we want to do? What make just acknowledge, note it?
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it's like you said, Anthony Critchley, when he was the Central Borough Councillor, he approved it, and he sent me an email with the plans on it and said, I've approved this, and I've kicked it out of touch twice, and now this third time, he's done it a third time, and he said, this is
He's looked into it
exactly
thoroughly,
with it, and he
probably.
said he's thoroughly happy with it.
Yes, well, yeah.
Okay, should we just note it
To
then?
go with
Well,
it.
I think a bit better than noting.
I
I'm not
do,
sure.
yeah.
I think it'd be reasonable actually to support it in principle, because the objective is to take away the through traffic, right, containing to the traffic that needs to be there, and improve pedestrian safety, and also it's reasonable to say it's also in response to local some local demand. There's evidence of that. I myself would say less supportive, but it's.
I agree.
Yes, let's go with it.
Okay, we'll take a vote on that. I mean, I'm not enamoured with it.
No, I'm not. I'm not enamoured with it either.
So you have a proposal, you have a second now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a vote then, you're proposing it.
Yeah.
Second day. Take a vote for that.
It's 4.
No.
No, sorry, there's 4 people.
4 people.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm abstaining.
I am as well.
That is carried.
Vote against it if you wish. Go against or
Well, I mean,
it's up to you. I mean,
yeah,
take a
we've
vote.
got time. I'd say I'd be against it in principle because at the end of the day, I think it's going to cause more issues elsewhere, and then you have this knock-on effect. You know, that's, so I'd say against it.
So you're
I'm
4
against
then
it.
and an abstention.
I'm a bit
Okay,
concerned
that's
about
fine.
Woody Way.
The proposal
I
is
am.
carried by majority.
I'm saying against it for that reason.
Right, okay. Item 9 then. To no correspondence associated with the planning enforcement. 11 miles.
Yeah, there's not much to note there apart from the owner engaged with, once he was reported to plan enforcement, the owner has engaged with plan enforcement and some work has been done, so they removed the birch tree and the buddleias from the roof and the frontage, and I am led to believe that they will be doing further improvement works on that property.
Oh, that's good.
The 10 aside, I'm not reclaiming.
Take the sign down as well. So that's just an update. Enforcement took it forward and the proprietor has taken some action, which is nice.
Okay then. Item 10. Conservation area review update.
The update is that this planning committee sought a conservation area review. The council supported it. We've gone through the procurement process and appointed the professionals to start that, and that will be started next week. So we'll start that whole process for the conservation area review for Crewe, and it will look at several areas of the town where there is character and built environment interest, and try and define those out so that we can protect them for future generations, which has been something that may have been lacking for some time in Crewe.
And is that the zones that went through the
Yeah,
council.
we're not predetermined. Those are the ones that are suggested as primary areas to look at right now, and this review might identify others, or even discount those, but I probably
Right, okay.
more likely to identify those and maybe identify some other assets to think of.
So they're going to look at boroughs and come up with
Yeah, that's
suggestions.
exactly right.
So who's then?
Oh, sorry. You can hear me now, I can't remember. I think it's Purcell. Yeah, Purcell. There were actually 8 submissions, so it was a very popular opportunity, which is good. It was scored competitively and independently, and Purcell were the unanimous winners, which was nice. So it made it a lot easier to decide. There you go.
Do you think, I'm just wondering, Ian and I are both members of the Railway Cottages Residents Group, which is, they're listed buildings or terraces. I think it might be appropriate at least to declare a non-pecuniary interest, because they, I suspect, will fall within that examination. Well, I'll declare that as a just.
Yeah, well, I'll include that in the declarations of
Yeah,
interest, a
yeah.
non-pecuniary interest
Yeah.
on behalf of both councillors
Yeah.
associated with that
Yeah.
as members of, voluntary members
Yeah.
of the Railway Cottages Residents Association.
Yeah.
Can achieve that, no problem.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Any other comment on that?
No?
Okay, that's positive. And so we move to item 11, to note the proposed date of the next meeting is the 29th of January 2024
Wow.
at
And,
6 p.m.
and that has moved, by the way, that date, so do change diaries.
Somebody's got an important date before.
Yeah, my wife's very old that day.
Okay, well, I'll close the meeting. Thank you for your attendance. And if you don't see you before,